Hi everybody. I'd like to talk about an herb that's really proliferating pretty well in my garden this year. I only planted a couple of them last year, and now I have a ton growing out everywhere, and that's Chinese motherwort. That would be Leonurus japonicus, as opposed to the motherwort that we are familiar with really in Western herbalism, which is our Leonurus cardiaca. It's interesting because in both vernaculars, in both language, in Western, motherwort, as well as the pinyin in traditional Chinese medicine, we find the same kind of naming convention. So motherwort, and that's yi mu cao in TCM, which means benefit, yi mu meaning benefit, and then mu meaning mother, and then cao meaning herb. So benefit mother herb and motherwort, even though they're different species, being used across two different cultures very similarly. And so in the Chinese tradition, this would be considered an herb that invigorates blood, and it's very much what we use it for in the West as well. So it's probably its primary usage that we see is in female health, right? So there's a lot of different things. Let me talk through some of those things that we would use it for and how we would use it. So in TCM, this herb is used to invigorate blood, as I mentioned. And this has a parallel in Western herbalism as well, in the sense that breaking up blood stasis is also a way to work with and support the body in injuries or pain or cramping. One place we find that, and it's used a lot, is in female reproductive health. So, for instance, to harmonize menstruation, PMS, cramping pain, amenorrhea, dysmenorrhea, we're going to find herbs like yarrow, like lady's mantle. In the case of cramping, herbs like crampbark or black haw, black cohosh, white peony, are all herbs that are going to go really well with Chinese motherwort for that purpose. We can also, work towards the direction of supporting the heart and the cardiovascular system if we're pairing it, especially with herbs like skullcap or wood betony or hawthorn or bugleweed or red sage. And here we're going to be working with people maybe with anxiety-related palpitations or hypertension, irritability and stress that's related and working its way, and we're finding it, kind of symptomatically in the cardiovascular system. On that note, bugleweed is something we can also pair it for hyperthyroid activity, to be able to calm the thyroid. It is an aquaretic, meaning it promotes urination. So herbs that we would use it for in that regard might be corn silk or celery seed or goldenrod or parsley root or cordyceps for kidney support and to be able to excrete, for UTIs, so someplace where we want to be able to urinate and eliminate that way. It's a wound healer as well. For closed wounds, for closed injuries, musculoskeletal injuries, herbs like yarrow, arnica, Mexican arnica or Heterotheca species. For open wounds, maybe echinacea, yarrow, chaparral. These would all be herbs that I would pair it with as well for those purposes. Now, we normally want to harvest the first year leaves of this plant. Really, the root and the stem is not as much of use to us in terms of its medicinal quality. So first year leaves, young leaves, the herbs that we're looking at right now are pretty much what we want. This is where we would harvest them. And we can tincture them fresh, we can tincture them dried, we can make a glyceride out of them, we can certainly use them as a tea. There are numerous ways we can use them. We can even use them topically. As I mentioned, it's a wound healer. For fresh tincture, I like to go with around 50 to 60% alcohol as a maceration. For a dried tincture, I'll almost always do a percolation, and that's going to be somewhere around 40 to 50% alcohol. This is a really easy plant to grow in any garden. It's, as far as I know, probably zones 5 down through 9. So anywhere northern states down through Florida, you're going to be able to grow this. It's not extremely drought tolerant, but it likes a lot of sun, and it's easy to spread. Like I said, this one, for me, just literally is taking over this one little area, and I'm going to let it go ahead and keep spreading in this little area of my garden as well. Easy to harvest, easy to maintain, easy to make medicine from, very user-friendly herb. Highly recommend putting this one in your garden. I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, please click like, share, all of that stuff. And I've taken a bit of a break here, but I'm going to try to come back here weekly with I have so many plants. I have dozens and dozens of plants, not just in my garden, but also in the yard and in the local area here, to be able to share with you. And I'd like to be able to do that regularly. So looking forward to doing more of that. And check us out, of course, online, thehumanpath.net or herbalmedics.academy is where you'll find we have tons of classes covering everything from clinical herbalism to advanced medicine making to family herbalism to austere and wilderness first aid and wilderness first responder type medicine and herbal medicine as well, and growing herbs as well. We have a great, excellent class on figuring out a course on how to grow herbs and medicine, especially if you want to do it as a living, even just a part-time living in your backyard. So hope to see you next time around as well.